All right, welcome back, gang. This is Atomic Dom from the Atomic Dom Shelter, and today on this episode, we're going to talk about V-ball life and what's next after V-ball life. So, are you going to continue to play, or are you just going to go to rec leagues? What's going to happen with your world? You've been training for nearly 10 years or maybe more. So what are you going to do with all that training? We're going to talk about that next. But first, I want you to take a big look at that B-roll. Hit it. All right, gang, welcome back. As previewed, we said we're going to take a look at volleyball life and what's next on episode 115 of the Atomic Dom Show. So you're graduating, or you're going to graduate next year. So this is for juniors, sophomores, whatever. What's your path forward? So you have plenty of options if you decide you want to play. Okay, some of you I know are D1 or none, and that's a ridiculous mentality. There are lots of options out there for you, but let's just kind of take a look at some of them. I know some of you are looking for scholarship money. Others are looking for opportunities to play. So there's a big range. All right, so let's just say you go D1, and here's all the things that are involved in D1. Okay. And, well, you know what? We'll just include both. So how about that? We'll go D1, D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO. If you don't know what JUCO is, that's junior college, okay? All right, so here's the things involved if you're going to go play at the next level, at these two next levels, okay? All right, so you're going to get some really cool gear, which is going to be great. You're going to be up at 5 a.m. I don't know if that's great for you or not. There's going to be weights. It's 24/7, 365. You're in a constant training mode, which is fine. If you're that kind of athlete and that's what you're chasing, not an issue for you, okay? You got to travel, you got to study, and you got to play, right? So those are all big factors that are going to eat into what's going on in your college world. Let's not forget, there's a transfer portal. That's my little portal in time right there. So, for example, there was a girl from Kentucky who won the national championship, went to the transfer portal, ended up at Texas, and then won 2 in a row after that. So, where does that put you? That transfer portal could put you at the bottom of the roster. Or maybe they don't need you anymore, and boom, you're a D2, D3. Maybe you're transferring out, which is all possible, all legit. It's just part of the world that happens up there, so you better be good. You better be able to secure your spot, and you better be able to work hard and be ready to work hard. So I also broke down that, your path forward can also go to club and rec, right? And you can transfer out of any one of these. And some colleges and universities offer a club team. Some do not. So club is fun. You get to travel. You get to go to adult nationals, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a good time. It's a little more relaxed. And you still get to use your skills. And you play with some pretty good club players who you may have played against. And you'll definitely see them on that circuit, who you may have played against during your club times during high school or grade school, whatever. Anyhow, so here you are. You made it to D1. That was your D2, D3, the next level. We'll just call that next level, just to be generic termed about that. All right. So you're up at 5 a.m., right? You've got a full day ahead where, maybe if you're in this club rec, if you decide not to do that, you come down and, you're going to be into the world of flip cups, sticky floors, buff nugs, and fruit, which is sangria. So there's that's your nutrition pyramid for college, basically, right there. It's flip cup, buff nugs, and maybe some sangria or whatever. So anyhow, you've got a full day ahead while she's got a full day in bed. Okay, so that's one of the differences, right? You're over here trying to make honor roll. She's over here trying to roll some honors. Okay, you're working on GPA. She's working on the Chick-fil-A. Okay, again, those are the buff nugs right there. So what else? You're doing the walk of fame, right? And she's over here doing the walk of shame. So you've got court time, she's got court date. So there's a lot of, and you're becoming a beer pro down here, maybe, or maybe an academic pro, I should say. So again, there that's kind of life in general when you're in a college environment. I mean, these are the things you're giving up, which is good. You'll have your fun. Trust me, you'll have your fun. And it's just a different animal playing up top than it is when you're down here in the club and rec and flip cup championships, right? So what do you do after D1? Let's just say you get through college and maybe you're going to grad school and you can still play, or maybe you're an assistant coach or volunteer coach, possibly a manager. I don't know. Well, here are your options. You can go pro. For the guys, we have VLA, right? And the Pro Women's Volleyball Federation has just kicked off this year. So now you've got two great professional options. You've got pro and semi-pro beach, right? Those are also great options. That happens all over the country. Maybe you can travel overseas and play beach or play pro indoor. I know a lot of people who have done that. So, and then life takes over, and we both kind of end up here, right? So she's going through college doing her thing, and she's going through this bracket, and she's going through college doing her thing, but we all seem to end up here, right? Life takes over. Some of us are going to get married. We're going to buy houses, right? And then we got to get a job, right? Somehow we got to find a way to make some cashish and stack it high so we can take those vacations, those rich vacations that we always want to take, right? So that brings us over here. Like, how can you get money coming in, right? You've got a professional work life, but maybe you still want to play, right? So maybe there's some opportunities there at the high school level, or possibly a club director. You could coach club. So there's a couple different ways that volleyball can bring money back to you. But even if you don't want to do that, then you're going to have to spend money to put your kid through volleyball, assuming that that's part of your future, right? So all these worlds are kind of intermixed right here. And what we've got is, you could go this direction. We could coach club, high school or college. And that's an opportunity. And even small colleges and universities will have that need for both some starting men's teams, but most have women's teams. There's camps and clinics. Maybe referee's your thing, right? You can go ref. You can make great money on the weekends. You can ref club. You can ref NCAA. You can ref high school, right? There's also camps that you could put on. If you're a good enough player and you're in a club, you can host camps, give lessons, right? And go to Orlando in the 105-degree heat. Don't we all love that? And your friends are all going to be there, and you're going to create new friends and bigger circles and that sort of thing. And then, of course, you got all the team drama that comes along with all of your club teams. So, like I said, I got this little arrow here we've drawn. We're kind of mixing and matching both worlds, right? Well, over here on this side, let's say you're not going the volleyball route, and you go off and you move to the burbs. You've got kids, and maybe you're playing rec ball or club or something like that, and they want to join club, so that's going to cost some money. Then you buy a home and you're working on your career, right? And then you get trivia nights and cornhole. Then you get maybe a job promo. I mean, that's going to change your world a little bit. Maybe start a podcast. Hing. Maybe you become team mom. Maybe that's your role. Maybe that's what you want to do, but you're going to have the big green smoker that we always see on many of the decks. And, that maybe that's just your life, and that's okay. But you need to give back to volleyball somehow, whether it's here or here, right? Whether your kid carries on, teach your kid how to play, your kid goes through club, and then they enter the cycle again, right? That's kind of how it works. So for those of you who are kind of considering moving on, this is not a cigarette, by the way. I was challenged that might be a cigarette, but no, it is not. It's just a one-column bar graph. So here it is, breaking it down. If you're intending to play D1, of all the people who play volleyball in club for 10 years or more, right? That's what this represents. We get out of high school, and this is probably granted, these aren't 100% accurate, okay? But, there's this very small sliver who are good enough to play D1. The portal gets a little bit bigger for D1, or I'm sorry, D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO is even a little bit wider, right? Maybe even smaller. With some of those, they may not have teams, right? And the rest of life is just it's lattes and life outside of that. So that's kind of like your volleyball breakdown of where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and hopefully these things will line up for you. You can make them work. And even you can even bring your flip cup championship over here to this bracket. You guys can end up down here. That's no problem. And who knows, maybe it might be the same team that you played with in college. Anyhow, But just try to give back somehow. Remember, there's always opportunities. You can club coach, you can high school coach, you can ref on both ends. Actually, you can ref at all three levels. There's so many tournaments around that happening all year. You can do it all year round. I mean, if you start in the fall, you've got girls high school, which goes into girls club across winter, which the boys club happens, in that November, February time frame, and then girls club is happening until May, and then nationals happen. It's crazy, and then tryouts happen again in August and July sometimes. So there's plenty of opportunity for the reffing community, and I know we need refs. And it's probably the sport that might keep you the most away from parents. Maybe soccer. Soccer probably keeps you most away from the parents because the parents can be such a hassle. But I have seen a gentleman come down off of the R1 stand and promise the crowd that he will eject folks if they keep it up. So you do have that authority. I don't know if you want to make that your thing, but I know parents can be unruly and they're brutal to their own kids. From the stands, which I never understand why a parent does that. Like, they say it's to support their kid, but is it really? I mean, like, you've brought this kid up to make good decisions and you trust your child, and then they get out on the court and all of a sudden you don't trust them by yelling at them. So anyhow, that's a different episode that we can talk about. But anyhow, I just wanted to show this to you and make sure that trying to put your volleyball future and what's next kind of in perspective. Okay. This seems to be the most popular one. This seems to be most achievable because a lot of people will chase academics before they can chase, the pro level stuff. I mean, that's a huge commitment. And I will tell you, if you're studying anything in college, I'm sure there are some simple things. I don't know what they are, but your athletic program, like let's say engineering or medicine, right? Those academic programs are going to ask as much of you as your athletic program will, right? So you really have to have the tools, the time, and the dedication to stay away from the flip cup stuff and dedicate your time to your sport and your academics. That's why so many people end up here, right? If you're a direct admit to a business college, I don't know that's going to be huge, right? That's going to be a huge thing, and maybe club or rec balls is what you might need, as your academics are most important. And I think anyone will tell you that. You probably already know that, so I'm not going to tell you that anymore. All right, so that's all I have for this episode. Just a quick hit about life after volleyball. There are options out there. So, again, pro, men, women, beach. There's a lot of stuff. There's Euro play. Don't forget about the Euro play. Travel overseas and play. Who knows? Maybe you could be a coach overseas or something. I mean, and it by slim chance, even narrower than that. Here's your Olympic option right here. All right, that's your Olympic option. So there's even a slim chance you can do that. So many people try and train so hard and work towards that, and I like to see them get there. But that is a huge commitment, and you really have to be talented, and it's so competitive. So if you're not that person, be this person, or maybe this person, right? Because we know that we're all going to be this person right here, right? So good luck with your big green eggs and your smokers, and choose wisely when going to college if college is your thing. If not, then you can play some rec ball, right? You can still be Flip Cup champion, and you can go on to make stacks and stacks of cashish so that you can have kids to play club and get them back into this system. See how it works? It's all a giant maze. It's a giant mixing bowl that we're all putting everyone in together. So if we're athletes, that's what we want to do. We want to make athletes better athletes and make more athletes. All right, so that's it for this episode. With that being said, this is Atomic Dom. How about I forgot to put my thumb over here, don't I? All right, so this is Atomic Dom. OWT. Out. Later.